start could well have been the Ardennes in spring, couldn't it? Overcast. Almost drizzly look about
We
things.
do an hour ride
In southeast Belgium.
watching the Benelux
But
tour
it's fine
during
as the
that.
afternoon's gone on, and it's beautiful
Got a
hills.
1 minute warm up and then start my ride.
Slightly longer climbs on today's route.
It's the Oslo
Starting in
Merigoland
Ortilly and
ride.
heading to Oufalise. 207.6 kilometers. A very, very big. There in terms of distance. And taking on some really famous climbs actually. Côte de Saint-Roch, which we see often in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Côte d'Achour, if you hear drinkers will know plenty about that. And the Vieux Chemin, which you've seen in numerous races down here before. So in the heart of Ardennes, for stage 6 of the Benelux Tour. Let's go live onto the course because we've had Geraint Thomas up the road in a breakaway today. He was with Jonas Rickert. Jonas Rickert, the lead-out man for Alpecin Fenix. DG on the bus in his spare time as well. Geraint Thomas, Olympic gold medalist, winner of the Tour de France, and winner of
We
several
shall see if I can
classics
catch
of the
any of these riders ahead of me. That'll take a while because the closest rider is 4 minutes ahead.
Thomas is no danger to the overall general classification considerers. We remarked yesterday that he was dropped quite early. He's 11 minutes 24 seconds down. And he's going off in search of some glory here today. 53.7 kilometres remain. And quite a bit of news to tell you about from the race earlier on today. Dries Mas, Sam Bewley, Sean Deville, Rune Hergots and Mads Pedersen.
Haven't used my camera in a while, so I'm not sure how long the battery will last.
This hit earlier on today. In terms of Dries Mas and Rune Hergots, it was a crash that affected them. Well, things are really kicking off on the ascension, the first ascension of Saint-Roch. 53 kilometres to go. It looks as though the gap that was up at 7 minutes, we just recorded at 2 minutes, has exploded and almost vanished completely. 43 seconds from Geraint Thomas to those chasing. Stefan Kling is in this particular group at the moment. Tim Medley it isn't. But Magnus Bechstedt, a very good afternoon to you. I don't think we expected Tim Medley to hang on here too long.
No, definitely not. Not on this particular course. It's usually it's on the age. Trying to look into your space race really today. All the times are very, very similar to what we're seeing in that particular spring classic. So we're looking at the sort of the Ardennes Classics riders today to do well and the biggest sort of GC names. But interesting that time gap has tumbled so quickly to Geraint Thomas.
Well, Côte de Saint-Roch is one of the famous climbs from Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Still in the big ring.
The Classic that takes place in April here and finishes in Liège itself, to the town centre in the last few years. Tomorrow we'll head here to Flanders where champions are born. And we'll be heading over there as well for the World Championships. Now, Geraint Thomas, it's nice to see him getting up the road. There's been lots going on behind, but he's certainly been a good game for action from the Hamilton, isn't it? 36 seconds now.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, and I think we're going to see quite a reduced group very, very quickly. As that looks like Mark Hirschi on the front here, Tom Dumoulin. Those kind of riders are the ones that we're going to have to look for today, and this is likely to be the picture that we see an awful lot with whatever group we've got relatively strong out. Like I said, it's a brutal final today.
Yeah, we're taking on a lap that goes over the same climb, so this isn't the only passage of Saint-Roch. We will again take it on 4 climbs on each lap. As we've seen UAE Emirates very active So Hirschi with the Dixie point, he said, followed by Dumoulin. Askreen was involved. Here's Campenaerts on third wheel. Mohoric second wheel as well. For Hansgrohe can win it this week as well. They've had a really positive, aggressive outlook to this race. UAE Emirates until now have been riding in support of Fernando Gaviria. That though, today and tomorrow is going to change. Well, take a good look at this shot because it might be the last we see of the riders on the screen now. Sten Steels on the right-hand side, Emil Kessler. Thomas against through the centre. All of these guys for today, their job is done. On this today, out of the leaders ability yesterday. Started a fairly way down earlier today. Thomas is still out on his own for now. Often we'll get to see him riding in a breakaway.
That next rider, Rain, looks pretty strong, so I don't think I'll be catching him.
Yeah, it is, unless it's World Championships or whatever.
Kilometres to go on stage 6 of the Benelux Tour, heading to Paris today, 207 kilometres, and this is the selection made at the front of the group. I gather you are joining us on the television, and a very warm welcome to you if you have just joined us. This is Tupano, who's had an issue with his bike. If you further back, he's got the kind of chainsaw on some really good teamwork that was performed in his service by Jasper Superlin.
First climb coming up.
Wheel puncture. We haven't seen whether he has got
Shift into the little ring pretty soon.
50 kilometres to go. There are 21 seconds between Geraint Thomas, who is in the breakaway. Again, for the benefit of those of you just joining us, we've just been informed that you have joined us on the television. Jonas Rickert was with him. 7 minutes at one stage.
12% almost.
On that climb to Saint-Roch. The first of our 4 climbs on each of the 2 laps we take around the town of Oufalise. Time for the second climb already. This is the Côte Bois des Moines. 1.2 kilometres long, 8% average, a maximum gradient up at 13%. And one of these rare moments, Maggie, that on the camera, because of the houses are there, we get a rare appreciation of house builders.
Yeah, well, it's very rare that we actually get the appreciation for this, but yeah, when you're looking at the angle on the windows there compared to the road, it's yeah, it's pretty special. And these are the climbs that really quite brutal to deal with all day, where it's you know, they're short enough that you could potentially go full gas up them, but you know, finding a rhythm on them is very difficult. You're always up and down between the big ring and the little ring, and that tends to sap your legs quite easily.
Yesterday we were climbing little walls. Today we're climbing proper climbs, slightly longer, up real hills really. But again, we're not talking the mighty mountains of the Grand Tours or anything like that. This is Liège-Bastogne-Liège country.
Very much so, very much so. And
you can see there's 1.3
sort of
kilometres
1,500 metre
climb.
long climbs at with gradients of 15% and above. They're very difficult to deal with. Mohoric here, Mark Hirschi, Colbrelli, really starting to give this a good go now.
Well, I expect a lot of riders who want to be up there in the World Championships in a mock time to be good here, as well as Mohoric. I think will be a prime candidate to attack this race. And here he goes with Hirschi on his wheel. Colbrelli climbing better than ever. And if you think about those World Championships, again, maybe the man that Italy are going to be looking at.
I think they should. I really think they should. The way he's been riding the pretty much this whole season, you know, he's in great shape, and he's one of those riders who he's clearly strong enough to go in breakaways and sustain that, but he's also very fast in the finish.
Well, there's a lot of damage been done on that climb as Thomas is brought back. The breakaway is done, and we have 20 riders at the front of the race. Dumoulin, really refreshing. Nice to see him riding up there again, and looks like he's pretty happy in himself and his riding, which is nice to see.
It's nice. I think he's got a different role within the team now as well, which I think suits him. He's not the man that they always look to. That's obviously on Primoz Roglic's shoulders, but the way that Dumoulin is riding and slowly but surely getting himself into some very, very good form, I think he's finding himself in a nice position.
Andrea Pasqualon towards the back. Caleb Ewan climbing fantastically again for a sprinter, but not up there with the big attackers and the classics riders here. Now the Koenig Quick-Step have Kesper Aspren alongside the race leader, just sitting 2 wheels behind him, Stefan Kühn, the Swiss. Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. We can get an actual look at the race situation with Mohoric, Hirschi and Colbrelli. No time gaps
Going to
yet.
the big ring.
And we're coming
Maybe
up
a
to the area
mistake.
that will be the golden kilometre the next time we come through.
Yeah, Bahrain are sitting in a great place here, but both Mohoric and Colbrelli are 14 and 16 seconds down on the general classification,
Not
whereas
bad.
Mike Hirschi is a minute and 33 down.
Well, let's see if we can tell you a little bit more about who's in this group. Tischmanov has got back counts, and that's very good news for him after his mechanic. You can see Jack Bauer on the left-hand side. Kesper Aspren sits on the wheel of Campenaerts here. There are around 20 riders in the chase behind Colbrelli, Mohoric and Hirschi. And with that gap of 17 seconds, Colbrelli is the virtual leader now of the Benelux group.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't think that this is over and done with just yet, but that attack by Mohoric was really very, very strong. So he's clearly gone off on the attack here with intent to try and stay away.
Søren Kragh not having a good day. We heard earlier on, even before the television pictures were being to us from the host broadcaster, that he was struggling today. And Søren Kragh, we're just hearing, has now abandoned the race. So Søren Kragh abandons the race, as does his compatriot, Lasse
Biggest cog is 28.
I wonder if that's the sweets of that crash that he had on that left-hand bend yesterday, or whether there's something else going on. Seems like there's quite a few riders who've been abandoning sick with something. We're not quite sure what it is.
Well, Jack Bauer's here. Just talking about it, obviously, Luke Durbridge. We were looking for him yesterday, weren't we? Had 2 days in the breakaway. And Bauer is no threat to the general classification. He's at almost 5 minutes down, but his teammate Durbridge would be. Is working together. It looks as though they're keeping this trio in check for the minute. But behind, you can just see a few more attacks there. And the fact that they are starting to attack each other means maybe the chase isn't as cohesive as we thought. And finally, we get a look at group number 3. Still fairly sizable, but if they've been dropped already on these couple of climbs, just shows maybe that they're not as strong as those in front, Maggie.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. You know, when it goes on a climb like this, it's, you know, there's a couple of riders go off the front and you can sort of understand the sort of mechanics of that. But when a bigger group is off the back of another sizable group, then usually it just means that the pace was too high for them. And they might get back in, but chances are they'll get dropped on the next climb again.
Brandon McNulty in this group. Tom Dumoulin, we're looking at in the yellow there. Tim Wells, Victor Campenaerts. And now we've got another move. Astana Premier Tech have had a pretty awful week, haven't they, since they turned up. Bad luck with Jakob Fuglsang and Fabio Fellini losing them on day 1. Nobody involved in the general classification at all. Their best placed rider is Matteo Sobrero at 11 minutes 9 seconds. 26 seconds gone for the trio. Gap is growing, and I mentioned that Colbrelli was in effect the virtual leader on the road. He's only 2 seconds better off than Matej Mohoric, so that could all change once we get to bonus sprints and things like that.
Coming up to a fast descent, probably do 53.11 at the end.
They don't want to fully elaborate to do the work as Jasper Stuyven now comes to the front. Bauer is the only man there from Bike Exchange. No Luke Durbridge in that first chasing group. Man we've been watching all week since he was active in the breakaways and came to within just 2 seconds yesterday of taking the leader's jersey. Now let's go to group 3. The man you're looking at is Hector Carretero. He's got Philippe Gilbert just to the left-hand side of him, wearing number 23 in the red. On home roads today, one on. Oscar Rieseberg just in front of him, wearing number 5. Been active in every single race he's ridden this year. A really aggressive Giro d'Italia. 116 towards the back for one of the home teams, Angel Marchil. That was Danny Capote. Having a good week.
That's a big year.
Stella is the rider from Italy who's out there. On the attack, not for the first time this week.
No, he's been quite aggressive, but not really had the sort of fortune of getting a reward on those sort of aggressive racing that he's been doing. So these guys are definitely they're fully committed here now together. Even Hirschi is quite happy to work with the 2 Bahrain riders.
Geraint Thomas taking points at the Super 8 first checkpoint in the breakaway today. Mark Hirschi second.
Oh, that's tough.
The leader of that classification, Arjen Livains, having no problem to defend his jersey there with the shake-up of the riders who are out at the front. Here's Matej Mohoric, and he can admit to completely forgetting that he's in the same team as Sonny Colbrelli there for a moment, because they're both wearing their national champions jerseys. Just behind him is Mark Hirschi, who has a teammate behind in the chasing group. That is the American Brandon McNulty. And this is the chaser who's in between those 2 groups. The Astana Premier Tech Italian rider, Samuele Battistella, a man who, on paper at least, was the under-23 world champion a few years ago, but
Yeah, I should have changed down to the small ring.
running across the line first on the day, had a very different view on that when he spoke. The last time he was asked about it, probably the umpteenth time he's been asked about it. Battistella, the world champion, Econ, for those of you who don't know, was disqualified for an incident. Was it 100 kilometres for the line? And they didn't find out until